Originally recorded on September 4th, this live broadcast covered the new Bracket 3 offering from Mail Protector. We had 4 members from the Mail Protector team join us to show how email encryption can make life easier and safer for your clients. So let's get to it.
Hey everyone, this is Dan with Virtual Administrator. Thank you very much for taking some time out of your day to be on this call with us. I appreciate that you guys are showing up. I know we scheduled this a little bit last minute, but I'm really glad to see all of you guys here. We have a pretty cool webinar today. Last week, the team from Mail Protector reached out to us and said, hey, we got a new product that we're launching on Monday, which was a couple days ago, or I guess it was on Tuesday, September 1st, is Bracket 3. And it's a new version of their Bracket product, and it's going to be run in conjunction with their current Bracket product. So it's for email encryption, but there's some significant advantages to Bracket 3, which I'm going to let them talk to you about today. And it's just going to be pretty cool all around. And there's been some upgrades elsewhere in the system as well to the current version of Bracket, which they're calling Bracket Classic. And so we'll go over that as well too. So just some quick house cleaning. If you guys have any questions, the questions box is available for you to type into. You can also type into the chat. It'd be great to see some of what you guys are hoping to use Bracket for, or what you're currently using Bracket for. I always like to get feedback on that. And then obviously if you have any questions, then you can type them in. We will save probably most of them for the end of the presentation. But if you ask something, then and I read it and think that, hey, this is probably worth bringing up, then I might pipe up and say, hey, what about this? But chances are we'll probably save it for the end of the presentation. We'll have a Q&A. So I'm going to turn it over to Mail Protector now to who am I turning it over to? Matt first. Okay, we got a couple people here. So
all right, welcome everyone to the Bracket 3 launch, a day we waited over a year to happen. We are so pumped to show you some of the new features in our Bracket solution. Now, I want to let you know that these features were not born in a Mail Protector boardroom, but they came to us in conversations with MSPs at industry events, feedback, industry shows, what have you. We are an MSP-centric solutions provider, and that partner experience is paramount in any roadmap we're on, and you're going to see some examples of that today. So let's briefly meet the Mail Protector team that's on the call. I am Matt Scully. I am the channel chief here, along with my colleagues Chandler Consineri, Stephen Wagner, and Cody Eckel, and we'll be leading this webinar. Stephen is the director of sales for Mail Protector. Chandler is our partner growth manager, helping you with the tools to grow your Mail Protector business. And Cody's here because he's smarter than all of us. He's the technical guy that can answer any questions, technical questions, so we're good. All right, so let's get into this. In June of 2017, we launched Bracket, and it was a hit. It boomed. It was our #1 seller. But there was a course over the past couple of years that we've heard, sort of a tenor that kind of made us re-examine it. And it came down to these 3 things. 1, Bracket starts at the MX level and then proceeds to go through Mail Protector filtering. Now, a sort of a glitch in that is that some companies have their own filters and they don't want to go through this. They don't want to layer their options. Number 2, to provision MX records can be cumbersome and time-consuming to some MSPs. They don't have the time or the bandwidth to go through the provisioning. And number 3, specific industries may not want their MX records to go through a third-party company like Mail Protector. And so that was a roadblock. So with all this being said, we're introducing Bracket 3. Now, the first feature I'm going to talk about is the elimination of MX records as a requirement for Bracket. So for O365 users, we're no longer requiring MX records to utilize Bracket. Huge game changer. This is going to open up doors and avenues for you guys to go out there and sell more Bracket. Another thing also that it does, it actually complements the email security solutions by just adding the encryption function. Okay, think about that. If you are currently working with a company and they already have a filtering process, well, you don't have to use the Mail Protector filtering right now. Again, this is only for Office 365. You could just sell encryption as a standalone. Again, opening doors for you. Mostly, it's going to enhance the MSP experience by taking the lengthy provisioning process away. And that is going to be a game changer for a lot of you guys there. All right, another game changer that really caught the eye of our newly minted advisory board, it is the Bracket Share feature. And what this is, it's a transfer page. It's a customizable link where a non-licensed user can send encrypted files to a licensed user. Okay, so think of a secure file that you would like to send. Okay, you want to send it to a licensed user. You're a non-licensed user. Okay, all you have to do is go to that licensed user's auto signature or wherever they have that link. All right, click on the URL, and all of a sudden the page just comes right up. It's safe, it's secure, it goes up to 1 gig, so no more of those, file exceeded the limit messages. This is a really, really cool feature that's going to be able to have you send large files. Obviously, it's going to be encrypted, so this is going to be something that's going to be really, really attractive for your clients. So now I'm going to hand it off to Chandler, who's going to talk about some of these real life scenarios. So Chandler, take it away.
Awesome, thanks, Matt. Over the next few slides, I'm going to run you guys through some use cases for Bracket Share, as it's one of our most exciting features that we're releasing. So first, let's take a look at CPA firms. In general, CPA firms need to gather a lot of information from their clients in order to understand what they're working with. With new clients especially, they'll need to send over bank statements, income statements, loan statements, anything that will help the CPA firm get a better understanding of their clients' accounts. If they're using Bracket Share, the CPA firm can have these new clients share their confidential and financial information through a secure and encrypted method, which would be that link. Anytime a sender or new client in this example attempts to send a file with Bracket Share, they'll also have to verify who they are through a verification code that's sent to their email on that link. Once the sender is verified, the files will be sent. They're scanned for malicious data and content using the bracket code. The CPA firm will receive those files, and they're able to respond, and their replies will stay encrypted. Additionally, they're able to access these files for up to 1 year, but you can also adjust that time frame. 1 year is the max, and it can be any time less than that. Another example would be car dealerships. Right now, buying anything is a bit unique in the COVID world, as you probably have noticed. Actually, a lot of dealerships, you might have seen this on commercials, are pushing the buyers to online portals to get initial information for maybe test drives. So using Bracket Share, dealerships can create their own unique Bracket Share link. A direct buyer will reach out to that dealership. They'll get the link back. They'll be able to upload their driver's license from their phone or computer before arriving for a test drive. Assuming the test drive went well, the dealership's also able to respond to that Bracket Share message, keeping all of those messages encrypted in the response. If the buyer's ready to get some new wheels, then they can send additional files like loan information or bank info to begin that purchasing process. Additionally, the car dealerships are able to set approved employees to view those files. So if he needs to go to the financial department, they'll be able to see those files that are sent. A third example I would like to point out is working with mortgage brokers, leasing agents, or realtors. If you've worked with realtors in the past, you probably know the amount of documents you need to send over to be a new homeowner or lease a new apartment. Things like tax records, income statements, social security card, so on. Basically, any sensitive information that you need to exchange, you're easily able to send using Bracket Share. You probably also know most homeowner contracts or leases contain a lot of information, like pages and pages of information. As Matt mentioned earlier, you're able to share 25 files in one message, and each file can be up to 1 gigabyte. So that's a lot of space, and you can share this easily in one message, and that makes it a little bit easier to have everything together for the sender and the receiver. And lastly, I would like to bring up law firms. If you've ever worked with lawyers, it's probably safe to say you would like anything said between you two to stay confidential. Especially anything that you're sharing as far as confidential information. It's actually pretty common for hackers to attempt to access law firms. Some hackers will take conversations and files from law firms and hold them ransom in hopes to gain something from that. By using Bracket Share exclusively, you eliminate the chances of having hackers access your law firm's data. Anything that law firms want to send either to their client or have their client send to them will be encrypted and again stored for up to 1 year. So yeah, those are just some use cases with Bracket Share and how it can help any of your clients. And now I'm going to pass it off to Stephen to go over pricing.
Thank you, Chandler. One other thing I'd like to add, all of those examples Chandler gave talk a lot about particular industries that have some compliance. And so one of the great things with Bracket 3 is the ability to also use Microsoft's DLP as part of the process. So when a message would have any of these sensitive files when they're sending it out. With Bracket 3 now, they'll be able to be encrypted automatically using Microsoft's library to do that. But we didn't just want to come out with our partners at V8 and offer just a run-of-the-mill kind of product launch. Hey, here's our great features and benefits. What we want to do is provide you with a great opportunity for the rest of this year to grow your customers' interest and usage of Bracket. So there's 3 really exciting things that we're going to talk about next. The first is free invoicing. This is if you're currently using Bracket, you would still be billed. But for any new domain that you add Bracket to, and that could be the Bracket 3 generation with the MX-less version, or Bracket Encryption, which is the traditional version, which includes SafeSend and Cloud Filter, from now until the end of the year, you will not be invoiced for Bracket. This is not deferred billing. This is straight up free invoicing. Now, we gave that to you as an opportunity to put a lot of people on this and see what their initial reaction is, and to get them to be more interested in using Bracket. You could use this also to show them that the product you have is better than whatever their current product could be. What we find is that once end users use Bracket, the whole experience is so much better and easier for not only them, but for you, with less support tickets and less issues with sharing files and managing like who they're sending and encrypting stuff to, that we feel like this is a great opportunity for you to reach a whole new audience with it. But we also wanted to offer 2 exciting promotions from now until the end of the year. So the partner who sells the most Bracket and Bracket encryption licenses, now that is measured by if you already have Bracket, a customer on Bracket, and you want to add more licenses because they bought a company or hired more people, that number would contribute to this. Or if you already have some that you want to bring over onto the Bracket platform, that would be included as well. But from now until the end of the year, and this will be measured by what is invoiced to you in January, would give you the ability to then win a Tesla Model 3. But not everyone may be able to do that volume for a lot of different reasons. So we came up with this promotion as well. And what this really is a great opportunity. If you sell Bracket from now until the end of the year, you will earn 1 entry in the raffle for a second Tesla Model 3. You don't have to sell tons of it. We'd love you to, but any new license would enter you in for a Tesla Model 3. Say that 3 times fast. And that will give you the opportunity to also win. And that would be an opportunity that for a lot of us would be a great place to use as a sales incentive, or just give everyone an opportunity to win. Now, the CEO makes sure I always say this next. If you win the first one, you can't win the second one. So the old saying, only one winner per household. So that is the gist of the contest itself. But that is right now 2 exciting contests plus a promotion that you can take advantage of to really grow the Generation 3 Bracket usage and customer base for yourself. And with that, what I'd like to do is, with all this information, get Cody on with us to kind of go over in the Q&A, because I imagine there'll be some technical as well as pricing, invoicing, maybe other questions that come to mind. So let's go to the next slide. And Cody, if you could jump on with me here, we'll go through whatever your questions may be.
Yep, I am here and ready. I don't currently see any questions, but
yeah, I don't think you guys can see the questions. I'll go ahead and pitch them to you. We've actually been getting quite a few coming in, which is great. So okay. Thank you guys for presenting that to us and sharing us a little bit about what's going on. What do you guys call the original Bracket? I was calling it Bracket Classic, but I don't think that's what you guys are calling it, right?
As I've said, Bracket 3. Steven, I don't know if you want to take this one. I think it's more of an advertising thing.
Sure.
I would just call it Bracket.
Yeah, this is the 3rd generation of Bracket, if you want to think of it that way. So by calling it Bracket 3, it's the iteration. It's obviously that 3rd iteration. Now it's Bracket, and there's the Bracket encryption bundle. So as we move forward, what you'll see is Bracket, especially in this new MX-less environment, can stand on its own And then you've got the bracket encryption bundle, which has the MX record requirement plus Cloud Filter and Safe Send. And that's really the way that we see the two as we move forward.
Gotcha.
This is the way that we're launching it, just to have people understand that there is a pretty significant change in some of the functionality there that you can use yourself.
Gotcha.
Let me jump in here for just a second because I want to clarify two things, or clarify one thing and ask a question about another. So Dan, on your slide there, you're saying requires all users on the domain to be covered. That would only be for Cloud Filter. That does not require, bracket is never required.
Yeah, I know
Yeah, it was
that
never
part, but you're
require all
correct.
users. So you can pick and choose your users. So my question is for bracket 3, do we have that? We have that same flexibility with bracket 3, right? So we can still, if only 5 people out of, the whole group need bracket, we can pick the 5 people that it's going to work for.
It would take, the word I'll use is finagling. It would take some jimmying. You'd basically have to specify in the transport rule to not include those people's email addresses, which is just simple as if domain or if email address does not equal, it's just a dropdown, and then you pick from your contacts list, and then you'd want to remove them from the console on Mail Protector's side.
The people who aren't included.
Yeah, the people who aren't included. So that way you could section it off. So it is still, you're still able to just give it to, for example, 3 out of 10 people if you'd like, but yeah, we can help with the process on that. We're more than happy to. So,
Gotcha.
Okay.
So the way that it's been explained to me, and you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, but up until September 1st, Bracket, the encryption bundle, was the only one available, and it was $3 per user per month. So that's going up $1, but it's only going up $1 for new Bracket installations. So if you've been paying $3 per user per month up through September, then you'll continue to pay $3 per user per month for that domain. If you add new domains, they're raising the price, and they're raising the price for a couple of reasons. One is obviously because of the whole Bracket share, which is a pretty significant new feature, and they're also raising it because they're just providing a lot of value there, and they've figured it out finally. Bracket 3 is the new API integration, and that obviously is going to start at $3 per user per month. And the reason why is because that doesn't actually include Cloud Filter and SafeSend. So you will use the filters that are still built into Office 365. If you want to use Cloud Filter and SafeSend, then you would just do the standard connection that you used to do before through the transport rules and stuff like that. What'd you call it? The connectors, right? Through the connectors. But if you don't want to use Cloud Filter and SafeSend, you already have a filter or something like that, you can just use Bracket 3. And those, you guys can tell me if I'm wrong, but those are coming eventually through the API encryption, but they're still, en route, and it'll be a while before that happens.
Yeah, that's another feature that we've looked at, and we recognize a lot of partners want it, so it's something we'll be working on. Right now, I can tell you postfix is a huge limitation right now, and that's what all email lives on. So we're trying to not have to use postfix. And
Gotcha.
Yeah, it's a bit of a bear. I'm glad I'm not the one trying to figure it out. Let me just say.
Fair enough. All right, so that's kind of the way that's set up. So the reason I wrote this where it says requires all users on domain to be covered is because of the way it used to be set up. What you would do is you would set up a rule that says, transport mail through the outbound gateway, which is Mail Protector, which means that the mail has to go through Mail Protector. And so if a user's mail goes through Mail Protector, if they don't have an account, then they don't get filtered. It just gets denied. And so what that means is that you have to at least add Cloud Filter, which is $1.27 per user per month, to all users on that domain. So that's the way that would used to be set up. So like you could say, well, I have 10 users. I'm going to give 5 of them Cloud Filter and 5 of them the Bracket bundle. If that's what you want to do. Otherwise, you could do it through Bracket 3 and just do the API encryption. And we just talked about that, how you can set up those transport rules. And I did post a video in the chat about how to do that. So one question, this was kind of a good question, actually. David was asking, isn't Bracket Share already available? Can you guys just talk about like the timing of all of this and just kind of go over the timeline real quick?
Yeah, Bracket Share was available, I believe, about a week and a half ago. It was available to people in Mail Protector, so me and the other tech team members, about a month ago to test out and break and do all those fun things. But it has been available to partners for about a week and a half now. So yeah, if you go to bracket.email and then you log in using your email address, you can use Bracket Share right now. It's on the left-hand side, and it's a little cloud with the arrow pointing up. Bracket 3 is a branding thing. It's not a separate product. It is just like previous Bracket, but we have 2 new features effectively is how I would think about it. And the features are the MXLess Bracket and then Bracket Share. But yeah, if you log in on Bracket right now, you'll see Bracket Share. So
yeah, so those who have been in the system would have seen that the stuff went live, which is one of the reasons why we said, hey, we're going to do this webinar now instead of waiting a week, because we knew we were already getting questions, and it was like, hey, we need to highlight this and let people know that this is available. So yeah, so okay, let's see. So here was a really good question from Ben. He was asking, where are the files stored that are being encrypted? And then he was also asking about HIPAA compliance and signing a BAA if needed.
Yeah, so as far as compliance goes, it's DoD compliant, it's HIPAA compliant, it's FICA compliant. It meets all the requirements for compliance across the board. What's happening is when you create that file, it's effectively never leaving the Exchange environment that lives in Bracket. So it's encrypted at the Exchange level, which is at a much higher encryption rate than TLS. And additionally, if you really wanted to, you can add additional layers of security if you're really concerned about, I don't know, quantum computers and things like that. I know those are up on the rise. What are they, like 2 now? So, but you can actually, it's 256-bit encryption out of the box. And then if you add a data key, it adds another layer of 256-bit. So if 50 years wasn't enough, you can make them take 100 years to decrypt the data. But it's all encrypted at rest and basically is housed in the Bracket system consistently.
Now, the Bracket files are not stored in their Exchange environment. You guys have your own environment, right?
Exactly, yeah. Basically, you're logging into Bracket and then uploading the files to Bracket. And that's going to upload via secure TLS connection, and then it's going to just be sitting in the Bracket Exchange environment, which is ours. And that way they can access those files at any time in a safe environment.
Gotcha. Okay.
One other thing on that too, Dan,
sure.
If I could just add one thing, is that you can also set the file lifecycle. So if you don't want it for a year, you can reduce that if you want, but 1 year is the max.
Yep.
So if you reduce that, I mean, that's basically destroyed permanently. It's not saved anywhere.
Yep,
like
there's
when it's finally
recovery.
cleared, it's gone. It's gone for good.
Yeah, if you set it for 30 days, if you call me on the 32nd day, I'm not going to be able to get you your file. Yeah. So.
And we saw, let me just pull up my bracket here real quick. Oh, hang on a second. Bracket.email. Let me sign in.
Dan's going to jinx this with a live demo. Is that it?
I am. I'm
what
sorry.
Is it? You don't do math and you don't do live demos?
Yep.
I'm asking for trouble, but I just wanted to show something that I saw when I was in
Cody, I want to ask you a quick question. You can set it at, so any partner on this could set it for their environment to have a rule based on file life. They could also do it at the account level and the user level. Am I correct in saying that?
Currently, you have to set it per message. We are working on setting a global setting, but right now there isn't a global setting.
Gotcha.
So right now, if you send an email, you would have to say, have this expire sooner than 1 year. So it is a little cumbersome right now, but we are working toward making it less cumbersome. It's been requested a lot.
One thing when Chris and I were going through this, what I wanted to show was, so this is the bracket. This is an email box, a very empty bracket email box, because we just set this up again. So like you have all these icons over here where you can like send a new message and do all that kind of stuff. But one thing that we saw was this button that says right here that says recall message, because we were looking for delete and we couldn't find it. And then we saw this button and clicked it and was like, what does that do? And it basically, if you click that button, it says this message and all attachments. And it's not just the message, it's the whole thread, right?
Yep.
all responses and everything,
Mm-hmm.
will be permanently destroyed. So if you have files that you're sending and you don't want them just sitting out in the ether, even though there's lots of encryption and all that kind of stuff, you can potentially click this button and it will delete everything in that thread. So the whole chain will just go away. And then here's the message options. What can we set the
That's where you
message
can change the message expiration. Yep. Spot on.
So you can actually set it for a day.
Yeah. If you want to.
I'm ready. Where's James Bond? Or who is that? That's not James Bond. That's Mission Impossible. This message will self-destruct.
Yeah, it's pretty granular as far as when you want things to expire. So
it's pretty intense.
Like I said, we're working on making kind of a global policy that you could set up in permissions for that. But right now, it's the button's not there. I would guess it's probably in this dev cycle, but we'd have to see.
Okay. Well, we'll come back to that if we get some more questions. I'm going to move on.
Okay.
Office 365 integration. Does it require a certain level of the Office 365 subscription? Also, thank you, Ben. That was a good question.
It doesn't. As long as your Exchange is hosted on Office 365, then it's going to function just fine. It doesn't require it doesn't require like advanced threat protection or anything like that. Out of the box, if you just have Office 365 Exchange, then you're going to be able to utilize the product.
Gotcha. And then another good question for Peter was, how does Bracket 3 interaction with Microsoft 365 backups, or how does it interact with Microsoft 365 backups, such as like data's SaaS protection?
So the nice thing about this is it's not going to disrupt anything. Effectively, if you have anything already in place, all that we're doing is using the API to add an outbound connector to Bracket directly, and then setting up a transport rule to trigger the use of that connector if brackets are in the subject. What this allows you to do is configure everything with that connector if you'd like. So you could set up for it to trigger on social security numbers, you could set it up and all that. And it also doesn't disrupt mail flow if you have another connector, for example, or something along those lines that's journaling. So it's really unintrusive, if that makes sense.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And did you guys say if was SecureStore available through the same API encryption yet, or was that something that was for another day?
You can also add archiving with this. What ends up happening is it's going to archive anything that goes to the Bracket system. And then you would have to set up a journaling rule in Office 365 to journal to our archiving system. But
Okay.
it's very doable, very easy. I think the rule takes me a minute or two to set up.
So if you're inside of Mail Protector, you enable Bracket 3, set up the API, and then enable SecureStore. What you're going to be secure storing by default will just be Bracket's emails that go through Bracket. But any emails that are not considered encrypted, you would have to do a second step there just to get them in.
Yeah, you do a journaling rule, and anyone who's set one up knows it's just putting the address in the journaling rule, really. So,
okay, cool,
pretty straightforward.
Robert asked another compliancy. Are you guys familiar with FIPS compliance?
FIPS. I'm sure I've heard of it. It seems very familiar. Okay, yeah. It would be FIPS compliant. Yeah, like I said, we're Department of Defense, and we pretty much checked all those boxes. At this point, if you enabled the key encryption, we're quantum computer safe also. And that's not even a standard that people are asking to maintain yet. So
great.
We're government agency compliant. Yeah.
Cool. All right. Bracket Share as an add-on, is that something that you pay for, or is that included? How does that work?
It's included. Yeah. If you log into Bracket right now, whatever you pay for your Bracket licenses, it's included completely. There's no separate cost. Something that I guess I've been comparing it to a share file, or it's similar to OneDrive. The disadvantage is we only store it for a year, but it allows you to create that link that people can go to get their secure files, and it's 100% included in the Bracket product.
That's awesome, and both of them, not your Bracket 3 or whichever version of it.
Yeah, it's all. Yeah, if you had Bracket, you have Bracket Share, and you have the option to do MXLS Bracket now. Yep.
One other thing I was going to mention about Bracket Share. So you guys mentioned that you can create a share URL.
Mhm.
So if you're in Bracket, I noticed this the other day. You can create this share encrypted files and messages. So you from Bracket. Let me just back up real quick. Come on, inbox. There we go.
Yep.
You just click new share, and you can create the
Mhm.
share. But then you can create a share link.
Yep.
And one thing that you guys can do is customize that link.
Yep.
And you can name it, give it a name. So I may have created a link for me. It's like the domain name rush all over again.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yep. And what's super nice is you can put that link in your signature, and if they click it, it logs them into Bracket, and then just gives them a place where they can drag and drop their files, and then it notifies you that someone dropped files into your Bracket inbox.
Yeah.
So
that was something that's pretty cool. So on uploads that come in through Bracket Share, you guys are scanning those? Like they can't just upload anything to you, right?
Correct. Yeah. If you wanted to test, you can put malware or viruses in there. It's basically running through our filter, as well as it all lives in the Bracket environment at this point. So basically, we're scanning whatever's uploaded there to check if there are any viruses or malware or anything like that. So we're also keeping you safe that way.
Okay. And Peter has a good question about data centers and locations. Is there any way to require like data center locations, like EU, US locations, things like that? You know, like I know the EU doesn't like people using US data centers and vice versa, things like that.
Yeah, what we typically tell people is there's no way to currently restrict it. What's going to happen though is it's going to use the closest data center regardless. So if they're in the EU, it's going to use the EU data centers because we're using AWS. So the availability zone is always going to be it's always going to choose the fastest, but there's no, I guess, way to guarantee that it's going to always be the European or United States availability zones.
Gotcha.
But it's always going to pick the fastest route. So, you know, I've never seen it
it's
pick
not
a
really
different
something we
one.
can guarantee, but it's good for speeds.
Yep, exactly. Can't guarantee it, but 99% of the time, it's probably going to use the availability zone in the zone of the world that you're in. So,
Gotcha.
But can't guarantee it, sadly. Yeah.
Okay. So Jay's asking, are there any other customizations coming to Bracket Share, such as like adding a user picture or something like that to make it more personalized?
You can add a picture in your settings, and then it should have a picture. So if you go to the little gear, the settings gear, you should be able to add your photo there, and then your photo up top, and then that'll actually pop up if they click your link.
Oh man.
So
I don't
yeah,
have
you
a
should
good
have your
photo.
picture there.
I'm gonna be you guys for a minute. All right, let's see what that does.
Yeah, so if you want to go to the Bracket Share link that you created, so
yeah,
I don't know if you copied it or not, but yep.
It's /Dan. It's easy to remember. Didn't update
so
yet.
Your picture, yeah, it takes maybe 5-10 minutes, but it does have your picture if someone clicks your link. Yep.
Cool.
So
there is some customization there.
Yep, it's going to be individual settings for each person.
Guys, if I missed your question, go ahead and type it in again because I think I got everything.
David was asking about G Suite. Do we have a roadmap for when G Suite will be available?
Definitely on our roadmap. Well, we don't really have a roadmap per se, but it's definitely on our radar, I would say. Okay. I can't give you an exact date because that would be irresponsible of me as a tech person. But I can tell you it's been the top question asked. I actually have it over here. I was going to answer that even if someone didn't ask it. I would imagine we're probably working on the API with G Suite now, but I can't put a promise date on it. I would hope by the end of the year or first quarter next year. But again, I'm not promising anything. So.
Fair enough.
Yep. Here is.
All right. I think that wraps it up. If you guys have any more questions, feel free to ask. I appreciate you guys sticking with us through the call. It looked like GoToMeeting was having some trouble today. I apologize for that. We did record the whole thing, so we will publish the recording shortly, so you can watch back through if you need to. Otherwise, I hope that you guys enjoyed this. How did you guys enjoy this thing? Type in, let me know. Was this informative to you? Did this answer your questions? Did this give you more information than you had, or is this something that you think that you could use in your business? Why don't you punch that in? All right, I see this was really helpful. Thank you so much. Awesome.
Hey, on behalf of the Mail Protector team too, I appreciate Dan and Chris and everyone else from BA who's got us together so that we could present this to all of you. So was very appreciative of you guys kind of doing that. So
thank you guys for doing all the hard work. So
yes,
we're looking forward to it.
I really appreciate you guys taking the time with us and with our people. So awesome. All right.
Thank you much. Have a great day.
Thank you.
See you guys later.
Thanks, guys.
The future starts right now. I made a reservation, but you never came, so I'm checking out.
Thank you for watching this presentation on Bracket 3. We are glad that you were able to join us. You can sign up for a free trial of the service available on our website at virtualadministrator.com. Also, keep in mind that Bracket is free through the end of the year for all new domains. So pass on the savings and try it on with your clients today.